Hi, welcome back to my channel Learn German with Turbo. You know what am I doing? Even though I've made so many videos about B1 Goethe exam Lesen paper, still students keep messaging me asking me how to solve Lesen B1. So today I decided that I would solve a paper of B1 Goethe exam Lesen with you all. So let's see, what does the Lesen exam look like? So here you're going to get 65 minutes to solve 30 questions. And to pass this exam, you need to score 60%, which means only 18 out of 30. The order of solving the tiles of B1 Goethe exam that I find most efficient is 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. If you solve the tiles in this order, you will see that you would be done with a lot of questions in very little time. So if you solve tile number 5 first, you'll see that you'll finish it within 3 to 4 minutes and you would have secured 4 marks already. If you go to tile number 3, it is again very easy to find answers for the hardly take 10 minutes to solve this. So in another 10 minutes you have captured another 7 marks. So within first 15 minutes of your exam you have around 11 marks in your pocket. If you look at tile number 4, again it will barely take you 10 to 12 minutes be able to find most of the answers correctly, and again you have another 7 marks in your pocket. So then I like to move on to tile number 2 because here the paragraphs are much easier to understand. So even if you make an error, you would be able to easily score 4. Solving the paper by tile number 5. You see they have dedicated 10 minutes to this tile, but if you follow the tips that I'm going to share now, you're going to finish this paper in maximum 4 minutes. The remaining 6 minutes can then be used to do other tasks of Lesen. So you see here there are 4 questions based on the regulations of a place. And if you can see here, there are so many headings. Now, to solve these 4 questions, you need not have to read all of these headings. In fact, we don't read these headings first at all. What do? We first read a question. For example, I look at 27, Schuler. Here they are constantly talking about parking the bicycle. Now, I need not have to read anything else. I'll jump to Parkplatz. And when I read this heading, I find out that there is a designated place for the cycles to be parked. And hence I'm going to mark C. And this way I will read my question, find the keywords, and based on the keywords, I'm going to jump to that heading only to read and find the answer. This way you see, instead of 10 minutes, only spending 4 minutes max. Follow this trick and tell me in the comments below how long did you take now after following this trick. Move on to the next tile that we wish to solve, which is tile number 3. You see that they have dedicated around 10 minutes for this. This you have 7 people who are stating their requirements. And then you have some advertisements we need to match to the requirements of these 7 people. Now one of these person is not going to have any advertisement matching them, so we just simply mark them 0. This is how we are going to solve this tile. We will first write down the keywords of requirements of each person. Question number 13, Leon wants to work in the tourism department in summers and also wants to improve his German. So this is how we are going to write the keywords for the person. Now, I'll ask you to pause this video and write down the keywords for all of the other people. So I hope you have finished writing the keywords like this. Now you do not have to reread these statements again and again because you have written yourself some important useful keywords. Now we move on to the advertisements and we just read the advertisement. And once you read the advertisement, you are going to easily spot the right person for that advertisement. For example, when you read this C advertisement, use Deutsch, India, Schweiz. When you read this advertisement completely, you see that it fits the requirements of the person in question number 18. So they want to improve their German for studies, right? So we mark here C. Now look at the next advertisement. For example, advertisement number D. Here they are offering jobs, German learners in Germany. Okay. And this way you can improve your speaking, your spoken German, and you can also collect some experience in the in the department of hotel and restaurant. You remember there was one person who wanted such kind of opportunity, and that was question number 13. Now you see, I am not needed to read these statements again and again. I have written my keywords, I just need to look at them. And when I look at my advertisement and read it clearly, I can easily spot the person who this advertisement matches to. Now, when you follow this method, you do not have to go back reading the person's requirements and advertisements again and again. What we are going to solve is style number 4. Now, they have allocated 15 minutes. Let's see. So, here first you are going to completely understand the statement that is given to you. If you do not understand this, you will end up marking the answers incorrectly. So here the statement says that we read in a magazine comments of people about banning the video games where they are showing a lot of violence. Once you have understood this statement, the task is very easy. You need to read each person's comment and mark Ja oder Nein. Now, here they are saying choose if the person is in the favor. Für ein Verbot means is the person in favor of the ban. So if you read about the first person, which is Stefan, he is saying it becomes even more interesting when you ban some. So he is saying that why would you want to ban the games when the game's effect or when the game's attraction is even more when it is banned? So there is no use of that, which shows that he is against the ban. Here we are going to mark 9. So you see, when you read the comment, it is very easy to understand what the person is trying to say. Moving on to tile number 2, they have allocated 20 minutes for this tile, and yes, you will need around 20 minutes. Now, in this tile, you need to read 2 paragraphs, and each paragraph will have 3 questions based on that. Now, this seems difficult, but if you follow this, you will easily solve it quickly. How do we do it? We do not read the passage first at all, and we also leave question number 1 of each passage to be done at the end, because in this question they ask you for the summary of the text. If you want to solve this question first, you would have to read the entire passage, which will take you a lot of time. So what we are going to do is we are going to solve question number 2 and 3 of this passage, and then once you have finished doing these, you would have already finished reading the entire passage, and the answer to question number 1 would automatically come to you without having to read the passage for this question exclusively. Okay, so let's start with solving question number 2. Here, what the questions are in the order of the passage. So we are going to read the question first, and we are going to read the options. Once we have understood what is being asked to us, we are going to move to the passage and quickly read through the passage. Now, most of the times you would find the similar keywords. Like here, they have written die Wissenschaftler wollten zeigen. Again, in the passage, if you read, you see that you will see the same words here. Okay, but I still recommend to quickly brush through the passage that is before that, so that you have an idea of the flow of the text and you're able to mark the answer for question number 7 better. And focus on the one that we have marked. We know where we are going to find the answer. And when we read this text, here you see there are the keywords that we need to understand. And by reading those keywords, we know the answer is option number A. Then again, we are going to read the next question and read the options. Once we have understood the question, we can look for the keywords. So when we read through this text, we see that the answer is over here. And with the help of that, we mark our option number C as the correct answer. Now, see, your aim was to only solve question number 8 and 9. But while you were solving these 2 questions, you ended up reading the entire passage. And since you could read the entire passage, you could automatically solve question number 7. And you know that this is the answer for that. So, this way, you did not waste your time in first solving this by reading the entire passage and then rereading the passage for solving these two. So we read the passage only once and we could solve three questions from it. And then you're going to use the same techniques to solve the second part of this. We have finally reached the last tile, which is tile number 1. You see, there is so much text to read in this style, and you have so many questions to solve. Think about it. When you exercise, do you start by lifting weights right away, or do you do some warm up before? If you start solving your paper by such a text heavy question, your brain will be over exhausted in the beginning itself. So that is why we like to start by tile number 5 and then 3 and then 2, so that you gradually increase your effort. That way your brain has warmed up and you have gained a lot of confidence by solving the easier tiles first. Now you have to remember that in this style the questions are in the sequence of the passage, meaning the first question will be somewhere in the first few lines, second will be in the following lines, and then so on. So we do not start by reading the passage. Again, we start by reading the question. We first read the question, some keywords for ourselves, then move on to the passage. When you move on to the passage, you read first few lines. Within first one or two lines, you will find your answer. Then you're going to go back and mark it. Then you will read the second one, mark the keywords, come back to the text, read the next few lines, and you'll find the answer. And then go on to mark our answer. This way, you will not be rereading the text again and again, because I know it is very frustrating. Trust me, you will only have to read the text once and all of your questions will be done in no time. So, if you solve your exam like this, you would be left with around 10 minutes and in these 10 minutes you can recheck your answer, or you can also go back to the questions that you are confused about. So, I hope you found this video helpful. Viel Glück!